and welcome to our ethnic reborn painting class, lesson 10 already. In this course we learn how to paint an ethnic reborn doll after my Eritrean friend Sarah, and in this lesson we are going to finish the arms. Look at that, this is what the arms will look like in the end of this lesson. I'm going to teach you how to paint all of the details, how to get a nice and beautiful skin tone that matches with her face exactly, and how to matte them in the end. And of course I'm going to teach you everything about painting realistic nails. I'm very excited. Also, if you want to take a better look at the reference pictures, if you want to zoom in, if you want them in high quality, and if you want more pictures to practice and to study arms and hands and nails of babies of color, you can get the ebook who has all of them in there, or you can buy a physical copy of the ebook so you can use all of the pictures that you can see in there, and you can put them next to your arms and your hands when you're painting them. I'm excited. Let's get started. We will need 50% burnt umber with 50% of medium. Okay, make a mixture. So you can use medium or you can use thinner, whatever your preference is. So we're going to make a dark color. This is our translucency paper. We're going to start with our tiny, look, that is a gorgeous color. All right, the inside of the hands have the creases of the insides of the hands don't have to be darker, because with Sarah's hands they're not that dark, but we do want to darken underneath the nails. So you'll do that with all of the nails. Oh, I accidentally painted on the nail. We don't want that. So we can blend it out with our dry brush. So underneath the nails, not on the nails. But now we have this darker part. We see that before, on the reference photo, we can see that before the nail ends there is a darker part like this. So we're going to paint them on all of the nails, just a little dark stripe. Dark stripe at the end of the nails. And of course you'll do the same with the nails of the other hand. Okay, we still have this color. Let's make a shadow around our dark colors, the creases of the hand of Sarah, because she has visible Sarah has visible pigmentation differences on her fingers. This is different with every baby, so that is why it's so important to use reference photos with the baby you're painting. Okay, and inside of the other creases. And when you look at the balloon principle, this finger here is the skin is overlapping, which means there's more pigment gathering in this place, so that is a little bit darker than the other pigmented areas. So in between, and dab onto the knuckles. They are stretched out a bit more, so they are less dark as this part. Okay, repeat the same thing with the other hand, and then let us continue with the dark areas on the arm. So first the wrist, this little triangle here. Well done, very well, very nice. Very good, very nice. Dab it out. The inside of the elbow. And here we have the balloon principle again. The arm is bending, so lots of pigment gather here. And we see that Sarah has pretty visible knees and elbows, so we're going to make them darker, of course. And then the whole shoulder and armpit. And don't have too much paint on your brush, because that will be harder to even out beautiful. Just a thin glaze as always. Look at the depth that this already gives. Do the same with the other arm. Then we're going to make a beautiful glaze of skin color over the whole totality of both of the arms. 70% burnt umber, 30% of brown earth. And then we're going to use at least 30% of your dark brown with 70% of medium, because we're going darker. This is a bit too much of medium, but all right. And mix it very well, because it's important now. We're going darker and darker. And the paint is less and less translucent, which means if there is stripes or color differences in the paint themselves, we're going to see it on the doll, and we don't want that. So mix it thoroughly and check it out on your translucency paper. Look how much darker it is. Gorgeous. This is exactly what we want. So grab your reference photos from your book and place them next to your hand, because we're going to start again with the edges of the hand to be sure that they're nice and natural. This, the difference between the two skin types from the inside of the hand and the outside of the hand will be natural and placed right. So first we're going to do the stripe, then we're going to blend it, the stripe, the difference, the border, and which the skin types. So my English is amazing. We're going to blend the border from the two different skin types, from inside the hand and outside of the hand, and only then we're going to continue with the next part. Okay, finger by finger we're going to do this. Take a look at your reference photo, where the difference goes, and until where you have to go. And then first blend the edges. Exactly. And on the other side as well. And only then continue with the rest. If you paint them all before and blend after, then the stripe will be settled in and you can't blend it anymore. So it's very important to do it like this. Go all the way up to the nail, but not over the nail. And again, blend the stripe. And the other side is not needed, because the fingers are touching each other at a place that it's not needed. Okay, the other side of this finger, blend it out. And then lastly, the little pinky. First painting. and the stripe, and then blending. All right, gorgeous. See a little dirt here, we don't want that. And then the last edge of the skin is in here. And blend it out nicely. Okay, now you've blended all the edges, you can blend the rest of the hand. Look at the beautiful skin color that is coming alive already. All right, the inside of the underarm first, and go over the elbow so you know exactly where to go in the next layer. First the edges, then the rest of the inside of the underarm. Oops. Then the other part, the outside of the underarm and inside of the elbow. I love how you're still able to see some of the veins through the skin. Do you see them? Here and there. I don't know if the camera will catch them, but that is why we still painted veins, even though they're less visible with babies of a dark skin color. They do shine through and they do add to the realism. Here you can see another vein and another vein. Okay, so first the inside of the upper arm. Blend them out. And then the outside of the upper arm. This is a bit much paint, as you can see. You don't need that much, but we'll work with it now. And then blend it out nicely. Before you do the other arm, first go over with your wand tip to check if there is any dirt or hair or dust particles gathering in your paintwork, because we don't want that. All right, and when that's done, let's go to the next step. We're making a glaze of 70% nails red and 30% of blue. We're going to make a nice little purple, and then we're going to make a glaze of 5% of paint, 95% of medium or thinner, whatever you prefer, but we are always working with medium. Let's test it out on our translucency paper. Nice. See how this purple is more bluish compared to this purple, who is more red. The underside of the nails. So you're only painting half of the nails, and if needed, blend the edges with your dry brush. Only half the nails. And blend it out with your dry brush. Blend it out. Half of the nails, and do this with the other hand as well. Now we have a beautiful little purple-ish pink. We're going to paint the underside of the nail tips of the fingertips. Only half of the fingertips to make a beautiful realistic shadow. Only half of the fingertips we're going to give a little glaze of this color. And then blend it out. Well, there's not much visible of this fingertip, but half of the fingertips. So there's another fingertip here. We're going to paint half of it with a little bit purple for the more depth. Look at this fingertip, how beautiful that is. And the same with the thumb. Exactly. So you've painted all half of the fingertips, and use this purple to accentuate the dark part underneath the fingers one more time. Underneath the nails. Did I say underneath the fingers? Well, anyways, underneath the nails, of course, to bring some nice shadow. And we're going to do the edges, the sides of the hands as well, with a little bit of purple, and inside the triangle. So only the undersides and the edges towards the fingers. Well, this is a bit too purple, and then we can blend it out when it's a bit too much. So just in here, look how much realism this type of purple gives. Okay, then go over the creases again with your purple and blend them out. So all of the creases with purple, and blend them out. Okay, the same with the whole wrist. Blend it out. And down here a glaze over the whole wrist. Blend it out. And after that, gorgeous. The same just on the top of the elbow, which is going to be even more dark because Sarah has a pigment difference in there. And then inside of the creases. Gorgeous. And then only in the armpit. Oh, there is some dirt in here, we don't want that. Okay, and then only inside of the armpit. Pretty. 80% of natural crimson with 20% of brown earth. Then you have a beautiful skin pink. Let's try on our translucency paper. So 20% of your skin pink with 80% of medium. Look, that is gorgeous. We're going to glaze over the nails and over the inside of the hands, because honestly it's a bit too purplish for me, so we're going to make the color more natural. But first, the nails. Glaze over all of the nails. And the other one as well. And then with your pink glaze, let's see if we need a bit more brown earth. So now we do 50% of natural crimson with 50% brown earth. So we have even more brownish pink. Let's test it out. Gorgeous. And we're going to apply that to the cushions of the hand, because they're a bit too pink in my opinion. Look, this color matches a lot better. So all of the parts that you've painted pink can get this color. Now just a thin glaze over all of it, and of course blend it out nicely. You can use a little bit on the fingertips. As well. Gorgeous. And blend them out. Nice and pretty. Gorgeous. And the other fingertips too. And blend them out and repeat the same with the other hand. And when your layer is dry, we can add another layer of this over the nails, because I think they can handle can benefit from some more pink. Gorgeous, look at that. We will make a glaze of 30% burnt umber and 70% brown earth. And then 30% of your new brown with 70% of medium. You're going more and more, going thicker and thicker with the paint. And let's try it out on our translucency paper, just over all of the others. Gorgeous. Well, I think it's still a bit too red. More of burnt umber. Just a tiny tip like that. That is better, but I do still see some stripes, so I'm going to swirl around a little bit more to make sure it's blended nice and perfectly. Just like that. Okay, so remember how we did the hands? We started with the stripes that showed the difference between the two skin types. And I have way too much on my brush. So that is not good. So I'm blending it out now. And first I'm going to dab some excess paint off and try again. Amazing, that is better. So at the edges we always blend first and then continue our painting process. So the first finger, and then blend it out. Otherwise it looks like it's painted on, and it should look like it's skin. Should look like skin. Alright, and blend out the sides again. Very, very nice. Just wanted to be sure there were no stripes on the fingers as well. So I'm going to blend again. Okay. And then the other fingers. First again, the edges of the skin type. And blend that out perfectly. And then do the other finger. and blend out the edge again. So finger by finger. It's a slow process, but we want to take the time. Then attach to the rest of the hand, blend out again, and blend inside of the creases to be sure that the paint isn't piling up there. All right, okay, your underarm, the inside first, the inside of the elbow as well, and first the edges, then the rest. Okay, then turn around, get out now later. Okay, then paint the rest of the arm, the underarm, of course, because we're still painting in sections. We don't want to mess up. It's still very important to paint in sections until you finished your last layer, because steel stripes can become visible and we don't want that. You want a beautiful even glaze. We don't want to dry stripes in there. Make sure not to touch the rest of the arm and the inside of the upper arm. Just like that. I love these last layers because they bring all of the skin together so nicely. I think that is just so pretty. Okay, and then the last part of the upper arm. Last part of the upper arm. And then blend it nicely. All right, perfect. Now let this one dry. Okay, we're very close to the skin tone of the doll. We're going to just add one more layer when this one is dry, highlighting or deepening the dark parts so the darks are just as dark as on the face of our baby doll. Let's keep her here. I do still think that the inside of her hands are a bit too purple-ish. So we're going to use the glaze we just made and add 95% of matte medium just to tone down the color. So let's show on our translucency paper. Nice and pretty, good. So over the inside of the hand. And of course, the fingertips. And then don't forget to blend with your dry brush. Oh, look how the hand is coming together now. That is really nice. Okay, now we still have a little bit of this dark color. We're going to do one more glaze over the dark parts of the nails. So the edges of the nails. That is way too much on my brush. See how that is too much? Like that, but we need a brush to blend as well. Okay, let's paint all of the nails edges brown first. And blend them out. that is better. Sometimes you have to try a few times. Before it works. Blend it out. Okay, I blended it off. That's not what I meant. Try again. The life of an artist is trial and error and not giving up. Gorgeous. Blend the edges. And the last nail. Pretty. Very, very pretty. Okay, let this dry and we're going to do the last layer of dark accents. For the last dark part, we're going to need only burnt umber. And we're going to do 50-50, so 50% burnt umber with 50% of matte medium, which is super dark. The darkest we've had so far. Alright, we're going to start with the dark parts of the hands. So first the tops, just on the under the nails. Under the nails, nice and pretty. The darkest folds, this one is the darkest folds, and the wrist. Over the whole wrist, and then blend it out nicely. First the edges and then the rest of the wrist. Look how much depth that gives. Okay, the inside of the elbow. And the top of the elbow itself. Just only in here. Gorgeous. And then, oh, wrong one. The whole shoulder. And blend it nicely. Look how gorgeous. Let's see next to the face. I think the arm fits perfectly. The last thing we're going to do is add the white tips to the nails. You're going to need your warm white, your tiniest brush. We're not going to need a lot of warm white. Just a little bit. And as you see with nails, the points of the nails are never white, they're just a little bit translucent. So we're going to add some medium, 50% of warm white with 50% of medium. You're going to make sure that the tip of your point is totally full soaked with white, so it doesn't like spread out like this, but it has a nice little point. I would advise to paint with your hands on the table, but you won't be able to see it well, so I'm going to lift them, but you should do it on the table because that's much easier to control. Then take a good look at where the edge of the nail is, and then you can paint it on with just the tip. take it out of the edges because we don't want it to be in the edges. Just like this. First take a look at where the edge of the nail is. And then paint it on. Just like that. Load up some more on your paint, on your brush. Oh. And this will take some practice. It's not very easy, but you'll get there in the end. Promise, it's just some practice. If it dries, as you see now, the paint breaks down a little, so it's easier when your brush is still wet enough. See the difference, how much easier it goes on? And the little pinky. Nice, beautiful. Okay, now we have a light line. Now we're going to use the pure white with 20% of medium, and we're going over the edges of the nails. Do you see the difference? How the depth starting to develop. Oh. Just like that. So even thinner. You can skip this step if this is too hard for you. This nail somehow has some trouble every time. So make sure you don't paint on the fingers, but just on the nails. Yes. Like that. All right. Just like that. And the little pinky. So this is what you've got. Look how pretty. Do the same with the nails of the other arms. And of course, with every step, go over with your wand tip to check if there's any dust or dirt sticking into your doll. Wow, your arms are finally finished and it's time to get started on the legs. Look how beautiful the arms match with little Claire's skin tone. I think it's just gorgeous. I'm so proud of you for making it this far. And if you want to encourage other people too and go on this journey together, please register and become part of our free closed Facebook group where we help each other and encourage each other in this beautiful painting process. I cannot wait to get started on the legs and to finish our beautiful doll. Don't forget to like this video and to subscribe to our channel so we can continue to make videos like this. Will I see you next time? Bye!